first option on that?
Yeah. I mean, she was wide open. I mean, it's a tough play to make, but she was wide open, and we've run it a million times in practice. So just didn't convert like we had hoped. But she was wide open. So unfortunately, we just weren't able to convert.
Coach, just talk about the perimeter shooting. I mean, it wasn't the best performance today. Just what went wrong?
Yeah, I think we just I thought Oakland did a great job. Defensively, they're quick. They can pressure, and we missed a ton of open shots. I felt like it just wasn't our day. We had open threes all day that we went 5 for 29. I mean, we had open layups all day, missed a bunch of them. You can't do that against a good team, and they're good. I mean, they're right there. They're fighting for a championship. They're not that far out of first. So we just didn't show up and play very well. And we had 3 or 4 players not have a bad day, and you can't do that against a good team. And giving them a lot of credit. I mean, they played hard. There was a lot of loose balls, offensive rebounds down the stretch that they came up with, and usually we're the ones coming up with the loose balls and the rebounds, and they did. I mean, there was 2 or 3 possessions where they had 2 or 3 shots because we didn't box out, or they were just more physical. And I'm obviously disappointed, to say the least. But I thought Oakland played really well. I mean, they went and got it, and we kind of let them. If we make free throws, we win again. You know what I mean? It's just, but we can't go out there and shoot them for them. So that's hard to swallow too. But again, just between knocking down open threes, knocking down open layups and free throws, I mean, that's shoot 15 points right there if we make just some of those. So it just wasn't our day, and we're gonna have to bounce back and get some rest, and then hit the road. 6 of our last 8 are on the road, where it's hard, more difficult, and either we're gonna step up and get some wins, or we're not. And ultimately, we just gotta raise our level and more sense of urgency, be ready to go.
How would you describe the spirit of this team going forward?
I think, I mean, they're resilient. I mean, they'll bounce back. You know what I mean? I think they'll be disappointed, and the film will be hard to watch when, if it's your player, if you're guarding her and you don't box out and she gets the rebound, and then they get, or the kid that loose ball, she gets it for an and one right down the stretch. If you miss the free throws or if you miss layups, what I mean? They're going to be obviously not happy about that, but can't let them bother us too much. I mean, Green Bay just knocked off NKU, who's really good, and that was at NKU. So we got Green Bay, and Milwaukee's got a ton of talent, and then Cleveland State, who's really good, and Fort Wayne on the road. And I mean, it just doesn't get any easier. So we can either, cry about it, or get ourselves ready and tighten up the belt and go play as hard as we can and see what happens.
How tough is it to let this one slip with that 4-game road trip coming up? Like you said, 6 of 8 on the road coming up. I mean, great in home all year.
It's like they're not trying to miss wide open layups. Sure. They're not trying to miss wide open threes. I mean, I felt like we had good looks all day. The last play, I mean, is wide open. You know what I mean? But it just wasn't there today. And, I think sometimes you have those days in which you're boxing out, your hustle plays, the rebounding, that's got to pull you through. And that also failed down the stretch, the boxing out. And so a lot of lessons to learn. But ultimately, just we weren't making shots today. I mean, I felt like, I don't know, it seemed like we had a lot of open looks, a lot of open layups, a lot of open threes. They didn't go in. But down the stretch, Oakland hustled, got offensive rebounds, loose balls, and ones, and they made their free throws. They shot 83% today. It's a, 2-point, 3-point game. I mean, that won it for them, and lost it for us because you got to make those. Those are free points. So